I'm Samir Chatterjee from Rebaca Technologies. We have a product called Abbott, which is a test and validation software for 4G, 5G, and O-RAN. One of the challenges that we found in the industry is finding capable people that knows the how to debug, how to deploy these workloads. So we created a version of our product called Abbott Edu, which is a virtual lab that enables people to learn and get a hands-on experience on a 5G O-RAN ecosystem, which we are partnering with TIP and part of the learning contribution to the industry. If you look at any learning experience around O-RAN or 5G, it's quite complex from 4G, where it is like 2-3 nodes to various nodes, virtualized platform, containerized architecture, and frankly 3GPP specifications are pretty dry and they can be very complex to understand. So as you go into these universities or online programs and you're trying to learn or teach the professionals as to what these sequences are, what these messages are, it's very difficult for anybody to grasp without having actual hands-on experience. And you cannot really get a Mavenir or a Nokia hardware in a university setup. Way too expensive, costs a lot of money. So we have created this emulated virtual lab for O-RAN, where you can simulate all these workloads and then you can run actual use case which maps into the 3GPP chapters, where you are doing a registration or a kind of bidirectional PDU. You can simulate different traffic, whether it is IMS, video, and then we allow you to look at every interface level, PCAP level, logs that are generated. So as students read, they can go to this lab and actually execute these test cases, understand what's going on, look into a container, understand different things. So we kind of we see this gap when somebody goes into a job. There's a huge, time they take before they become productive. So we're trying to kind of somehow reduce the gap by getting them exposed to an actual system where they get a lot of hands-on with the theory. Brilliant. So that's what we are trying to bring to it along the TIP initiative, where you have all these e-learning programs and all these different courses. So as you learn a particular item, you go back and you try it, come back, and you go through, and our software is completely AI driven. So you don't need actually a professor or a human to grade or intimidate the students from making simple mistakes, these IEs and different. So everything that you're doing gets automatically graded, results are put out, students can rerun it, and then be very comfortable going through a completely like a bot situation, and then become, quite rapidly become productive. That's the whole solution that we are bringing to the table. You see, if you look at what's going on in the industry and most of the other people talking, AI and machine learning is the buzz. But ultimately, to get to that fully automated zero touch, it's a journey.
Sure.
And until we get there, humans and the operators who have been quite deeply involved in running the network have to be engaged in the process. They need to actually, people have been running the network, they need to get first educated to understand what this new network is, as opposed to try to solve this in this voodoo type of manner. So the important thing is to bring the resource pool rapidly into this new technology, 5G, container, virtualized, open RAN, and all these things. Now, because there are so many different things, being able to come up with different means and tips initiative is one of them, and that's why you look at on the Google there are tons of 5G ORAN tutorials, training programs, all trying to bridge this gap, and they're in huge demand. So I think having an environment where people can try things out and being able to do it in a very comfortable manner, not being intimidated by what they're doing, how they're doing, a kind of a virtual lab environment is very critical to empower the operators, the people that we have invested into, so that they get to learn how to deal with this new technology. Even in X apps and R apps, we are trying to look at fully automated network. So there are going to be, all these events are going to get generated. These now, when you trigger one of these, ultimately before it gets impacts the network, somebody has to really feel comfortable that it is doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise the operator, meaning the whoever is running the network, is going to get impacted, and you don't want to have churns. And when you have a churn, you cannot go back and say, well, something did it and I don't know. So being able to get an educated resource pool which is familiar and comfortable with all these tools is very critical. And I think that's a challenge that you have to solve, because we are in a software business. I mean, so are you. Trying to recruit somebody who really knows it has become even more challenging
Absolutely.
than it was.
Yeah.
And trying to understand somebody who really, and with this whole, rapid churn in the industry, it has become even more difficult. So how do you train? How do you make them more familiar with the technology? I think that's a big challenge.